Hey, let's let's try this again. You freezing, Fatima? I can't. I'm trying to move around. Okay. Am I freezing for you or no? Can you hear me and see me?
Can you see
Fine?
me? Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Well, let's go.
yes.
Let's start. I do have a hard time seeing you because you're buffering, but I mean, I see some people joining,
Okay.
so maybe you want to, if I don't hear you, maybe you can write the questions in the comments, and then that way I can still answer them. Yeah?
Okay.
Awesome.
Can you
Good.
hear me right now?
It's like breaking, it's in and out. So you can see what I'm talking
Oh,
about. Okay. Can't hear
okay.
you.
I just asked you to bring.
No.
No.
Well, I hear,
Yeah.
do you want me to try that? I'll do the live and then you come on in.
Okay.
Would that
But
make
now
sense?
can you hear me?
Now I hear you. Okay.
You can hear me now. Okay.
Yes.
Great. Okay. Whew. Sorry. It has been like this those days here because internet is very slow. Everyone is using internet.
Ah, that
So,
makes sense.
everyone is staying at home. People are working from home. They are, watching movies, doing so many things on internet.
Right.
So it's slowing down the connection. So I'm really sorry for that.
It's okay. I can
So
hear
I
you.
just changed the connection operator. I have two. I got two at home. So I just changed to another one so that I can so that it works.
Ah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
It's good. Okay, cool. We're happy.
Very good. Okay. So first of all, thank you so much for accepting my invitation to do this live together.
My pleasure.
I want you please present yourself to the people who are here attending this live. The good thing that I want to tell about Salwa, she is Moroccan. She's a Moroccan woman rocking everywhere in the world. This is very good. So,
Somebody
Salwa,
said Arabic or
yeah.
French. Fatima, do you think we should change it to French? I can do French too. I don't Arabic, I'm not really good, but do you think that somebody
Okay.
just requested that?
Up to
What do you
you.
prefer?
It's
Maybe
up to
let's
you.
do a vote. Let's do a vote. Can you
Okay,
ask people just write down French or English and then we'll see
okay, people
the
here, do you
best
want
votes
us to
will
do it
win.
in French or English? Because Selwa is normally based in US. She grown up in Europe, right? So she can speak both
Yeah.
languages. So maybe you can tell us if you want us to do it in Arabic, sorry, in French or English.
Let's say
Okay,
French is
they
good.
are saying French.
French, everybody French. Oh, somebody says
French.
English. Okay, so let's do French then.
Très
French.
bien.
Okay, on va parler français.
Okay.
Okay, and
Voilà.
one is like, okay, who says English? Please, Arabic or English. Okay, that's cool. Okay, comme ça la prochaine fois aussi on fera en français as you like. Okay, so those of you, if you really don't
Okay.
know French, then write it down and then I'll do a little bit of both. I'll
Okay.
do English and French.
Yeah.
Ok, ah ben en français vite fait. Merci de m'avoir invité. Alors un petit peu sur mon parcours. Je suis née au Maroc, à Imin Tanout. J'étais toute petite quand j'ai déménagé avec ma mère en Belgique. Donc, j'avais pas 1 an déjà. Et donc, j'ai grandi en Belgique. Et à l'âge de 19 ans, je suis partie vivre à New York. Et je suis partie
Ok.
là, ça fait maintenant 15, presque 20 ans. Oh, on est vieux, hein?
Wow.
So,
Ça
ça
passe
passe
vite.
vite, ça passe vite.
Nice.
Voilà. Donc là maintenant, donc ce qui s'est passé, c'est que après être partie aussi longtemps, 18 ans pour être exact, j'ai décidé, j'ai fait toutes les aventures possibles aux États-Unis. Donc je suis arrivée comme immigrée, je parlais pas bien l'anglais, j'avais pas de papier, je connaissais personne. Donc j'ai vraiment commencé tout doucement à naviguer le système américain. Et puis là, maintenant, je me rends compte que, en fait, j'ai passé autant de temps aux États-Unis qu'en Belgique. Et donc, mais ma vie adulte a vraiment été aux États-Unis. Donc, quand je reviens en Belgique et je reviens vers ma famille, il y a vraiment un choc culturel comme ça. Même si je revenais chaque année, c'était vraiment difficile. Et ça l'est toujours. Mais bon, évidemment, comme on dit, je suis les filles de famille, je suis obligée de, tu vois, de prendre mes distances et de comprendre que nos cultures sont différentes et de respecter, tu vois, l'Walida et
Oui.
tout ça. Parce qu'ils comprennent pas trop. Enfin, c'est pas qu'on se comprend pas, c'est qu'il y a vraiment un décalage, mais c'est mon devoir de ne pas, de rester, comment dire, tu vois, quand tu mélanges les langues dans la tête, c'est ça que c'est.
Exactement. C'est exactement ce qui se passe avec moi. Quand je parle en français, je pleure parce que enfin, il y a des mots qui viennent en
Voilà.
anglais. It's okay, you can speak in English. We said we're gonna mix.
كنهضر شوية العربية مي العربية ديالي vraiment خايب. Donc, on va pas aller par là. Donc, l'anglais, c'est vraiment la meilleure langue et le français aussi. Donc, voilà, mon parcours, c'est ça. Et alors, qu'est-ce que j'ai fait aux États-Unis? J'étais très, très passionnée par le pouvoir des femmes. Donc, je me suis très concentrée très fort sur aider les femmes à être plus indépendantes via commencer leur propre entreprise. Donc, c'était vraiment ma mission. Et là, maintenant, au fil des années, éventuellement, j'ai travaillé pour Google aux États-Unis et j'ai commencé à avoir beaucoup plus d'expérience dans le digital marketing. Et puis, j'ai décidé de me lancer plus dans cette région. Et là, maintenant, avec tout ce qui se passe, c'est vraiment un temps vraiment historique pour être sur Internet. Et tu le vois bien avec le fait que le réseau au Maroc est saturé, c'est à cause que tout le monde est sur le net. Donc,
Exactement.
si vous avez un business ou même, franchement, n'importe quel business, presque n'importe quel business peut être traduit via un service sur Internet. Si vous avez un restaurant, vous pouvez prendre des commandes sur le net,
Oui.
vous pouvez les faire délivrer. Si vous êtes un professeur de sport, vous pouvez faire des cours sur le net et vous pouvez avoir un site membership et avoir les gens qui vous achètent les cours directement, comme moi je fais pour l'instant. C'est ce que je fais via Internet. Une autre chose qu'on peut faire, c'est que si vous êtes un photographe, vous pouvez vendre vos photos sur Internet. Il y a tellement de choses qui peuvent être traduites.
Tellement d'idées.
Oui, il y a tellement d'idées, ça ne manque pas du tout. Mais bon, donc l'avantage maintenant, c'est comme il y a tellement de monde sur l'Internet, le désavantage, c'est qu'il faut être créatif et innovatif. Il faut pouvoir un peu sortir du lot avec, en pensant out of the box, tu vois, en sortant un peu de.
Yeah.
Et je trouve que c'est vraiment génial parce que tu vas voir après cette histoire qu'on est en train de vivre pour l'instant, ce sera plus jamais pareil. Ce sera plus jamais pareil pour les compagnies.
Oui.
On va totalement changer. Les écoles vont être plus online. Les compagnies vont engager plus et laisser leurs employés travailler de la maison parce que ils sont plus productifs. Ça coûte. On a été posé. Ok, tu m'entends?
Ça coûte moins cher. Oui.
Donc voilà, je pense
C'est
que
là où
vraiment
ça.
c'est. Ouais, donc je pense vraiment qu'on est à un moment crucial maintenant pour transférer votre business en mode service online. Et si vous n'avez pas de business, this is the time. Like, c'est vraiment le moment pour commencer, même we call it side hustle, un petit truc sur le net. Par exemple, hier, je regardais sur Internet, il y a maintenant 1 milliard d'heures qui sont vues sur Internet. Oh, I see you, Dulce. Dulce is in English, so we got to speak a little bit of English. Hi, my love. So, right quick, for my English speaker, ça t'arrange, Fatima, si je fais vite une petite traduction? Okay, so for my English speaker right now.
Of course.
So what I was saying is that right now, it is such a crucial time to be online. And I think this is such a magical moment for everybody to really be creative and innovative and go online more than ever. Like, you got to show up for your people 100%. Like right now, what I decided to do is to go live twice a week and then start doing master classes. Yeah. You saw that, right? We talked about this. So really become creative to find a way that you can kind of get out, like stand out in your business. So yeah. Okay.
So no way to say this is a crisis time, we can't do something, we can't create a business. No, this is exactly the right time to run a business online.
Right.
Okay. So let's say someone decided to start, okay, to have a business online. Okay, from where to start?
Well, that depends. The thing is, you first need to figure out what business you want to start. So for example, with my clients, when they say, oh, I want to start a business, there's 3 things that I recommend, and then I'll translate that in French. I always say, and this is my recommendation, some people want to do different things, but I don't recommend it. Number 1 is to do something that you love. And the reason why I recommend this is because time will be hard when you have a business. There's no way around this. This is part of the difficulty. It's going to be hard at some point. But when you do what you love, this is really what's going to keep you going, because you remember your why, and why is it that you're doing it, right? So it's number 1. Okay. Number 2, find something that you're good at. So this comes with, there's exceptions to this. Let me explain. When you're good at something, or if you're not good at it, but you love it, then you get the skills to be good at it. Because if you do something that you're not good at, simply people are going to go to your competitors. And then the other thing is you are simply going to lose your reputation. So people are not going to be wanting to work with you because you BSing. And then the third one, is there a market for this? Like if you're going to be like doing something there's no market for, it's going to be a hobby. So in America, for example, they give you 3 years to prove that you can make profit for that business. After 3 years, they're closing your business account and they make it a hobby. This is like no point. Why are you going to pay taxes on something you're always at loss? So that's my recommendation. So tu veux traduire ça en français ou en arabe pour les gens, tu veux que
Alors, la première chose, alors pour commencer ou bien pour démarrer votre business en ligne, la première chose, il faut choisir quelque chose que vous aimez. La deuxième chose, quelque chose que vous savez faire. C'est-à-dire, il faut que ça soit something that you know how to, quelque chose que vous savez faire. La troisième chose, est-ce qu'il y a une demande pour ce que vous voulez offrir sur le marché? Donc, je pense que ce sont les 3 points importants.
Voilà, et le centre,
ce que vous aimez, ce que vous savez faire. Et troisièmement, est-ce qu'il y a une demande sur le marché pour ce que vous voulez offrir?
Exactement. And so the sweet spot is what is like the 3 of them together. That's the sweet spot, you know, finding something.
Yes.
So 2 more things I want to add about this. Number 1, when it comes to being skillful, having the skills for that type of business, I have an exception here, and it's pretty interesting. I have a friend who started a whole chain of hair salon based on memberships. He got so successful at this. He started 1, got successful, and he's got probably 15 now all over America. And he doesn't know nothing about hair, nothing. But here's the thing. He's very skillful at having a business. So he knows exactly how to manage it. And then he got a partner, and then they hired really awesome hair design or hairstylist, but he doesn't do hair and he doesn't know anything about this, but his skill set is the management behind it. So in that case, you know, he's not a hair salon or hair stylist, but he knows how to run it, and that's the skill. So in that case, that work. For example, for a restaurant, too many people say, well, I love to cook, I should open a restaurant. No. A restaurant is not about cooking. A restaurant is about managing a business. It's about marketing, sales,
Exactly.
like there's a lot of people who are really good in the kitchen. They should never run a restaurant, and vice versa, you know?
Yes.
So these are the things that are important. And then what I was saying also, the skill set. Oh, and then for the niche, for your market, when you do the market research, it's really good to be very niched. The more skilled you are into this, the better. So for example, if you want to open a coffee shop, we all know coffee shops is oversaturated. Everybody wants to have a coffee shop. There's a coffee shop in every corner. However, if you open a avocado bar and you're just focusing on serving everything avocado, you actually is going to stand out because you'll be the only one, and everybody who loves avocado, avocado salad, avocado sandwich, avocado, they'll go there because now you are on top of that market. So you have to think about how you can be creative, and then obviously ask your people. So yeah.
And I think that creativity is very important as well. You know, the skills, the competencies, plus creativity. Because sometimes you do have everything, you do have the skills, you know how to do it, you love it, but if you're not, you know, creative,
right,
you can't make yourself different from the others in the market.
Yeah. And so, you know, in America, we have the capitalism, right? And then in Europe, it's socialism. It's two different systems. They both have good and bad things. But I'm going to tell you something about the American system. The American system usually are the people who are the most innovative and creative and competitive that will win. And that's kind of where we are right now. We have a crisis. You have a choice. You can either be upset all day and just lay down and just be depressed of not knowing what to do, which you totally have the right to. We're going through a phase which is totally understandable. Or you can be really smart and wise and use this time to really get stuff done and just, you know, really show up for your people and go ahead, create that thing for you. And that's what I've been doing. Like I stayed here in Belgium. I came back to stay with my mom, and then I was like, you know what? I really need some time for me to really focus. So I got an apartment, I left, and I'm like head down working, and I'm really liking this because I can see that there's a change. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is sometimes people, when they choose the activity that they want to start, okay, they love it, and then the three key things that we said are there. They love it, they know how to do it, the market really needs it, but then they always don't know how to like create their business plan or start working on it. So they copy from someone else, and they try to copy the same thing, and they try to do it. Okay, is it something good when you copy the others? Like, can you hear me?
Yeah. No, I can hear you. Je pense qu'on devrait. Je vais te répondre en anglais, mais je pense que cette question, on devrait aussi la dire en français parce que ça va sûrement aider beaucoup de gens. Donc, so you're asking me if copying is good. You know what? I don't think I would worry about that. There's so much out there. I mean, you can copy all day long. If somebody copies you, they're already behind you. So they're waiting on your next best step to copy what you've been doing. Meantime, you're already ahead, right? So copying is not really, companies have been doing that for years, especially in the capitalism society of America. They all copycat. One company come up with a laptop, another one's going to come up with a laptop. One's creating this type of phone, the other one's going to create. They all copy each other all the time with cars, phone, electronics. That's always been the case. But what I would do is, what can make you very different in your business is your authenticity. Like when you are you and you're real and you have built this audience of people who really love you for who you are, it doesn't matter. I mean, I have people who stayed with me for years, and there are people way better out there doing things way ahead of me, and they could go there. But people are emotional. We stick with people we like, know, and trust. You know this. It's known in business. That's why I wouldn't worry about the people who copy you. You know, just Continue.
The question is more about as a person trying to start an online business, okay? Because maybe the easiest way to start is to copy another business and try to do the same thing. Because we are talking about an online business where you have to test, you know? So this is the question. Is it good to copy someone else's business and then try to make some changes to make it like particular, to make it something like that, switch your business to start with for the first time, and then maybe later on you start making changes because you need to know if this is something that is going to work or not. You need time to test your business.
So
how can we do this in when you're starting your business?
So I wouldn't really call it copy. I would say inspire yourself. Get yourself inspiration from other businesses. I do it all the time, and I see people doing it for me all the time. So get yourself inspired. So let's say you have an idea for a business. You don't really know where to start. Yeah, go find mentors online that already are doing what you do and follow them. Listen to what they say, attend their courses, and then get yourself inspiration to start your own thing. And then you modify it as you go. For that, yeah, absolutely. But I wouldn't recommend to copy everything copycat. That's not authentic. It's, you know?
Good. Very good. Now let's talk about the management of the business, the online business. You know, it's not easy, right?
No.
Especially when you're a solopreneur doing everything alone.
Yeah. Management in what aspects? I mean, there's so many parts of it.
The whole business, because you have to deal with everything, right? Unless if you have enough money to hire people who can help you. But most of people who will be starting an online business, they start small, right?
So
and then they make their business bigger.
Sure. So here's what I would tell you. This is what I did when I started. Remember, I arrived in New York, had no money, no mentors, no family, nothing. So how do I start? I simply, what I call in English American is called sweat equity. So basically you exchange the money you would have spent on hiring into the time and sweat that you need to put out there to learn. So what it gives you is two things. You are now gaining expertise. That means whenever you hire somebody in the future, when you get the money, you know what to do. And you also know if the person is trying to F you over or take advantage of you, you already know what's the deal. So for example, right now, a hire assistant, I can tell if they know what they're doing or if they don't know what they're doing because I've done it. So it's giving you great, it's putting you ahead. And the other thing that does for you is that it's giving you so much experience that then you can actually charge more money to the people that then will hire you for whatever project. You know, that's what happens with me with digital marketing. I can really charge prime because they don't know how to do it. So what was I telling you this? Learning. Okay, so sweat equity. If you don't have the money to start a business, use what you have online. I mean, internet, everything is there. And to be honest, most of the people, including myself, we put 80%, maybe even 90% of our stuff for free. The only thing that people pay is the community that we've built over the years. And also they pay for our personal touch. Are you there? I guess you were.
Yes,
so that's
yes,
it.
yes.
If you really put the time, everything is already there. So when you pay for a product, you pay because of packaging. It's saving people time, and you know it's more. What's the word? You know, when I put a course together, for example, people could do it by themselves on the internet, but they like the fact that it's structured, systemized, and packaged for them. That's why they pay for it.
You make it easy to find it in a nice way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. Because other than that, they can find it themselves. And honestly, I've learned everything on my own. Pretty much everything that I'm doing right now is stuff that I learned.
Is it like, can we say that online business is only for services? Because here we are mainly talking services.
No.
But online business is for both. products and services.
Yeah, you
right?
can. I just taught a class last week on how to start an online T-shirt business. Yeah, that was really cool. And actually, and the class is still available if some of you want it. The thing is, with that, there's a company, there's many of them. They actually a third party and they drop ship for you. They print it and they ship it. You don't have to do anything. All you got to do is to have your branding and create your design. And then you put that in a marketplace or in your website or both. And when people place an order onto your Shopify account or whatever account, they get the order, they print and they ship, and that's it. Like, why not everybody's doing that? You know what I mean?
Sure.
So there's a lot of ways you can
So
start.
if you want to give a general process to follow to have an online business, let's say you sell a product, okay? So the first thing to do is to find out what is the idea, and then try to find out what you need to do to produce. Okay, so you look for like suppliers, okay, and then you start your connection with suppliers. Then once you set up with them everything, then you start working on getting orders, right? So this is normally the general process that everybody can follow, right?
So let me go back to this. Number one, if you do not have money or have little money to start, do not start a product business, because the difference between products and services is products you have the overhead. Somebody asked for French. Yes, on va traduire en français, je promets. That's Fatima's fault. She should be translating. On va traduire en français, promis. Okay, donc, let me finish this in English. When you have a product versus services, if you're just starting out, do not go with product yet, because product you have overhead, you have the production, you have shipping, you have all of those things that you have to work, maybe employees. If you have a storage, you got to pay rent, you have to, like, there's so many other things in place when you start a product-based business. I would not recommend it if you're just starting out and if you don't have the money. I would recommend service, and then you can introduce products in there, like, you know, bags and T-shirts and mugs and all that stuff you want to sell. So that's what I would do. But when it comes to having a product, yeah, you follow the same rule, because it's a lot of work. When you start a business, you really want to, you need to know that you're going to be doing this for 3 to 5 years, at least. And the first 2 years are going to be challenging. So it's a commitment. So, tu veux traduire en français peut-être?
Alors, pour démarrer le online business, pour vendre des produits ou bien des services, ce que Salwa est en train de dire, c'est qu'il faut vraiment avoir il faut avoir de l'argent pour démarrer un business pour vendre des produits, d'accord? Par contre, pour les donc voilà, parce qu'il y a beaucoup de comment dire, de
formalité peut-être, les produits.
Voilà, pas de formalité, il y a beaucoup. Il y a beaucoup de
dis-le en arabe.
Factors inclus, qui sont inclus dans le processus, d'accord? On a le hiring, on a il faut acheter, il faut we have so many things involved.
Oh là là. Mais qu'est-ce que j'allais dire? Sauf pour dropshipping. Dropshipping, some of you know what that is. You don't need anything to do dropshipping except your time. Donc, dropshipping, it's when you are buying without your money and then selling, and then you make profit margin. Donc, en français, ce serait, on achète un produit, mais vous ne l'achetez pas vraiment. En fait, vous faites une recherche de marché pour voir quels produits sont vraiment successful. And then, tu prends, et puis après, tu le vends avec un
pour voir les produits.
Voilà.
Et en fait, vous êtes comme un intermédiaire entre le producteur, on va dire
la distribution,
le prestataire et le client final. Donc, ce que vous faites, c'est que vous ramenez des orders, des commandes, d'accord, en ligne. Donc, vous êtes un intermédiaire entre les deux, d'accord. Donc, si vous voulez vendre des produits, il faut commencer par cette formule. D'accord? Mais si vous voulez vendre, parce qu'en fait, pour le faire physiquement, il faut avoir de l'argent pour investir. OK? Mais le mieux serait de commencer par vendre des services en ligne. C'est plus facile. Et après, vous allez transférer votre business d'une vente de services à une vente de produits.
Par contre, pour dropshipping,
Voilà.
ils ont pas besoin on n'a pas besoin d'inventaire pour dropshipping et pas besoin d'investissement à part
Oui.
le site internet, peut-être vos ads, des trucs comme ça.
Exactement.
Ouais.
Voilà. Donc ça, c'est plus pour le e-commerce. Il faut vraiment étudier comment ça se passe en e-commerce parce qu'il y a beaucoup de choses qui sont importantes pour pouvoir préparer son business en e-commerce.
Ouais. Et c'est du travail aussi, hein. Donc,
yeah, you were saying?
C'est du travail. Tu vois, c'est pas. Il y a beaucoup de gens qui pensent que ouais, je vais faire dropshipping, mais c'est énormément d'heures à passer sur Internet, à rechercher quel produit. C'est pas facile. Il n'y a pas de quick fix en fait. Moi, ça fait 10 ans que je fais ça. Hein. C'est pas du jour au lendemain. Il n'y a pas de quick fix dans n'importe quoi. C'est pour ça que la passion est importante dans le boulot.
Exactly. And you know, Selwa, I really want you to give us an idea about the lifestyle, about your own lifestyle as an entrepreneur, moving from, moving from a country to another one, keeping your online business going on. I think that this is a very good experience that we all can learn from it.
Sure.
En fait, Selwa, elle fait son business en ligne et ce qui est important, c'est how do you call yourself? Nomad,
Digital
right?
nomad, that's the term. I don't like it, but it's what it's called. Digital nomad.
Yeah. Elle voyage beaucoup et elle reste, c'est-à-dire, tu restes pour des mois, je pense?
Normalement, un mois par pays, mais là, à cause du confinement, je suis bloquée ici jusqu'à je sais pas quand.
Voilà. And still, you're running your business, right?
So
how
am I doing this? I see some of my people up there. Alexandre, welcome. Hi, Salienne, good to see you. Okay, so there's a few things. Okay, so you asking me a day-to-day, what it's a day-to-day for me? C'est ça, une journée?
Yeah, this is an online business that you're doing. And this is something very important, because je suis sûre qu'il y a beaucoup de gens qui veulent faire du online business, mais du coup, ils se disent non, mais moi, je peux pas le faire, je peux pas gérer ça. Alors que, par exemple, par expérience, toi, tu es en train de voyager, tu fais beaucoup de choses, tu fais des formations, du coaching, et en même temps, tu fais le business en ligne. Donc, je pense que
people want to know.
On ne doit pas se dire non, on peut pas le faire.
Totally doable.
On peut le faire.
Okay, alors I'll give you a day of the day in my life, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about the business structure. So, one thing that I found out, and that was even before traveling, is that you need to be structured in your business, because when you are structured, you are saving yourself time. And so discipline is really some freedom. So I came up with a very structured, scheduled, and I can show you briefly this. I'll show you this right quick. This is an inside scoop, people. This is my calendar. So you can see everything is all structured and scheduled. So if you look in the blue right there, the blue is actually morning routine. So every morning I do have my morning routine from 7 to 9. I wake up around 6:30, and that's my me time. This is where I get ready for my work day, and I really focus on my me time. So I meditate, pray, I go do exercise, I have my coffee, no work, no email, nothing. And then Monday is business development. Wednesday is prospecting. That's where I do my sales, catch up with clients, make some ad. If you are on my list, Fatima, today I actually send out a prospecting where I offered every 5 people a free session with me. If you got my email, Wednesday, that's part of prospecting. And then Friday is I'm working on a book project, and this is what I do all my content for the week or the month. So that means my YouTube video, my lives, I create everything on that Friday. And then Tuesdays and Wednesday is just for clients. So I do client work or client calls. And then Sunday, no work. It's called self-care day. I blocked everything. Nobody can contact me that day. And I'm usually trying not to be on my computer. And then if you look over here, it says lunch. And that's where I even schedule my time when I'm supposed to be eating. So this is, I hope this is valuable to you guys, this to show you, somebody said we can't see. So it's really, really important that you start like that. If you wishy-washy with your business is going to be wishy-washy with you. If you do not take your business seriously, your business is not going to take you seriously. And that includes your money. So is this valuable? Can people engage? Est-ce que vous pouvez nous donner un thumbs up? Can you give us a little heart or a little thumbs up to see you there? Is this valuable to you? Oh, I see some hearts. Fatima, she's like, ah. Okay. So I'll say yes. Okay. So that's number one. You need to be very structured with your business. The other thing that I found out that is very important is that if you are able to invest at some point into getting some help, you should. Because, for example, you can hire now virtual assistant pretty much everywhere, and some are really affordable, $3 per hour. Okay, we'll do in French. $3 per hour, and these people will do all your admin work. So instead of thinking, oh man, I'm gonna pay somebody to do this, you have to think, this person is buying me time, and that time I should focus on my clients and my content. So, en français, deux choses.
Donc, la première chose,
oui.
La première chose, c'est que, c'est-à-dire, on peut faciliter la tâche pour démarrer notre business en ligne en trouvant d'autres alternatives. Par exemple, on peut avoir une assistante en ligne qui peut nous aider à démarrer, c'est-à-dire à faire des tâches qu'elle peut faire comme ça pour nous aider. Donc, et comme ça, on se concentre sur ce qu'on doit vraiment donner ou bien ce qu'on doit vraiment produire. Voilà.
Et l'autre, c'est d'être très discipliné dans sa journée, de pouvoir vraiment avoir des structures de ce que vous allez faire chaque fois. Donc, pas d'être olé, je fais un peu n'importe quoi, non. Par exemple, le matin, quand je me lève, quand je suis prête à travailler, je m'habille et je me prépare comme si j'allais travailler et je m'installe sur mon bureau à la maison et c'est vraiment comme une journée de travail. Ensuite, je bloque. Donc, j'ai tout plein de vidéos là-dessus, hein, si jamais Fatima. Si tes gens sont intéressés, je peux t'envoyer my morning routine, all of that stuff. I can send that to you. Donc, par exemple, ça, c'est aujourd'hui. Qu'est-ce que je fais? Quand je m'inscris, j'écris quelles sont mes tâches de la journée et quand c'est fait, I scratch them down et je les mets par priorité. Tu vois? What's the priority for today? It's usually first comes clients and then comes prospecting new clients and then my content, because remember that the clients are bringing you the money, so they should be the priority. They're running your business. Without them, you don't have, so they should be number one. Number two is the prospecting, the pipeline, we call it in English. Donc qui est intéressé à travailler avec toi, et troisièmement c'est your content and your creativity. So that's so far. Alors je crois que j'ai pas encore bien rempli ta question. Et par rapport à voyager, do you want to know more about how I pick my next destination? C'est ça ou?
I want to know more about the online business that you're doing right now. During all of those movements, you're traveling, you're handling so many things, and still you're running your own online business.
Okay. Donc, my online, so what I do right now is, so a business coach, we talked about that. I help people start and launch their business online. So what I do and how I get this work out is by, number one, being very consistent with my content. So, and you've seen me, that's why you and I never met. I don't even know how we met. We met on Instagram?
online.
Yeah, online. On Instagram, we're like, phew,
Yes.
phew. On Instagram, I
You know,
think.
technology
Yeah.
is important. Yeah.
So, okay, so first of all, the way I get clients and the way I grow my business is that I show up consistently. So very important. And then I focus on the funnel. So people know what a funnel is, marketing funnel, right? So you
Yes.
have to pick where is your audience. If your audience is on Instagram, is it on Facebook, is it on YouTube? It can be, you don't want to be everywhere. You want to focus on having maybe 2, and then the rest you can grow when you grow. But I would say 2 would be what I recommend. And so me, it's my Facebook group. I'm very active in my Facebook group. I teach there. I go there live, and you in the group, right? I go there live, and then people build trust, and then from that, I take them onto my master classes. So masterclass is when I teach people exactly how to do something, like how to start a business of t-shirt, how to get jobs on Upwork, how to create a mailing list, these things. And I take them step by step on that, and those are paid. And then I take them to the next level, which is the group coaching program, and then one-on-one coaching. So you have all these funnels. But the way I do this is by being consistent, showing up for them and giving them value. So like I said earlier, it's 80% of my content, I'm giving it away for free. You know, people who want more attention, then they want to work with me. So I don't really have to do, of course I do the work, but I think if you are really doing the right thing by sharing the valuable content, people are they are people. They're just like us. They're just going to spark interest. Be like, you know, Fatima, I've been seeing you doing your thing, and I think you're really good at this. I'd like to know more. Can we get on a call today? And boom. And that's how you get them. So, en français?
Interesting. Alors, en français. So you were saying that, non, en français. Tu disais que, c'est-à-dire, tu travailles sur l'audience, d'accord? Donc, tu essaies de trouver l'audience que tu veux vraiment viser. Où est-ce qu'elle est exactement sur les réseaux sociaux, et tu essayes de to drive them, de les guider vers le Facebook group, le groupe de Facebook, là où tu investis beaucoup de temps, tu mets beaucoup de cours, des informations for free, gratuitement. Et l'objectif, c'est de les ramener vers le masterclass, qui est paid. C'est ce qu'ils doivent, c'est là où ils doivent vraiment payer. Donc, la plupart du contenu que tu mets sur Internet, il est gratuit, mais c'est la consistency, et c'est-à-dire la présence sur les réseaux sociaux qui t'aide vraiment à arriver au point où tu vas vendre des masterclass à cette audience.
Ouais. Et ce qui est bien, totalement. Et aussi, ce qui est bien, c'est qu'une fois que mon masterclass il est fait, je vends le replay. Donc, une fois, once it's done, je le mets dans mon site. I have a membership site, and people can buy it after I've done the class. Donc, vous pouvez continuer à l'acheter. Donc, ça devient à ce moment-là un income passive income.
Oui.
Donc, voilà.
This is what's important. This is what we have really to focus on in online business. Because when we are talking about online business, I think I'm trying to ask you questions that are very simple to make it easy to people who are here to understand and help them to run their businesses. But for me, I think that the most important thing is to come to a stage where you have things that bring you a passive income.
Right.
You know, so definitely you invest at the beginning, you do a lot of things, you invest your time, your money, but at the end of the day, you need to get things that will be there. They sell themselves, and you get the revenue, you get money without being involved in the operations of those things. So you go and on something else, you create another thing that will again one day will go to this side where it brings you money without being
Ouais,
involved.
absolument. The good way to a good way to start is with an ebook. Start with an ebook. You can do an ebook in 30 days. There is a company.
Okay.
There's a company. I can share that. Can I share my Facebook group, Fatima, in there or no?
Sure.
So I'm going to put that on.
Of course you
Okay,
can.
so I am going to. So if you want to join the Facebook group, you are welcome to come, and then I will share all of this with you. Let me see. It's called the School of How To. So it's called the School of How To on Facebook. So
Okay.
l'école de How To, je ne sais pas si je peux la mettre dans le truc ici. Non, ça marche pas. But donc, if they want okay, so you'll put it later. Donc, commencez avec un e-book. Donc, un e-book, c'est, you can do that in 30 days. En 30 jours, vous pouvez faire, même pas, hein, ça dépend comment. Maintenant, tu as le temps. Vous pouvez vraiment écrire un e-book de, je dirais, entre une dizaine à peut-être 30 pages. Et après, The School of How To. Et voilà, c'est sur Facebook. Et mon nom, c'est Salwa Ibalin. So vous pouvez me trouver là-bas. Et là, je mettrai les informations là-bas. Donc, e-book, on peut faire ça en 30 jours. Vous écrivez le draft. Ensuite, ce serait bien d'engager quelqu'un pour to review your copy. Et vous pouvez trouver ça sur Fiverr. I do that all the time on Fiverr. Et après ça, vous créez une couverture, une super belle couverture. Vous utilisez Creative Market. Je vais te montrer si je trouve ça. On devrait faire un truc, si les gens sont intéressés, on devrait faire un masterclass sur l'ordinateur via Zoom. And I can really teach people way better. Donc, peut-être si vous êtes intéressé, mettez un thumbs up pour le masterclass et après on organise ça, Fatima. Comme ça, je ne dois pas tout le temps montrer avec mon ordinateur. Mais je vais te montrer vite fait là maintenant un truc que vous pouvez prendre à la maison. Ouais, ok, continue. Je vais marquer Creative Market e-book. Et ça, c'est presque gratuit, e-book cover. Et c'est vraiment, ok, je vois, il y a plein de gens qui ont dit thumbs up, ok, on va faire un masterclass. Ok, so, par exemple ici, Canva e-book template, là, je vais vous montrer un truc, c'est vraiment chouette. Attends, parce que... Non, ok. Alors, ça s'appelle Creative Market. Donc, c'est un site où vous pouvez en fait télécharger sur Canva et il vous montre tout. Il vous donne carrément la template. Donc, tout ce que vous avez à faire, c'est copier et leur mettre dedans et c'est tout. Et vous pouvez acheter ça et c'est vraiment nickel, quoi. C'est professionnel, c'est super bien fait. Et alors, un e-book, commencez avec ça. Et puis, vous le mettez en vente, mais évidemment, ça doit être quelque chose d'intéressant, ça doit offrir value. Moi, la seule, the biggest advice I can give you people who want to start a business is to focus on two things. Number one, be extremely consistent with your people. That's how you're going to build an audience. And your audience is how you're going to grow your business. And you can do that with a Facebook group, a YouTube channel, Instagram. You pick where your audience is. So number one, massively consistent. You need to show up for them so they can show up for you. That's number one. Number two is to offer value. Like I said, my stuff is 80% of my stuff is for free. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to tell you this because I want you to pay for it. You know what? F this, because they can find it without you. There's two types of people out there. There's the people who are winning and the people who will always need your help. The winners are going to win with or without you because they're that type of people. So you might as well work with them so they can be partners and you can thrive and make more money with them. And then the other one, the one that always go back to the same events and they never get the work done and they always buy your product. Have you seen people like that? They're always there. They never move. They're just like, why are you still here? You should be having a business. What? These people, we call it shelf help. They get a book, they put it on a shelf. They don't do the work. So, yes. En français. Ok, en français peut-être.
Alors, en français, pour réussir votre business en ligne, this is like, it's like crazy. English and then you tell me en français, and then I have to shift the whole thing, So, pour réussir votre business en ligne, alors deux choses importantes. La première, c'est la présence sur les réseaux sociaux. Il faut que vous soyez présent pour votre audience, pour que votre audience soit présente pour vous. I like it. Oh.
Ouais.
And then, le deuxième point, c'est qu'il faut offrir une valeur à votre audience,
Ouais.
ou bien aux
Ouais.
gens. Parce que les gens, ils cherchent toujours une valeur ajoutée. Donc, si vous si vous êtes là pour offrir une valeur,
Mhm.
ils vont venir vers vous. Ils vont vous
Mhm.
chercher.
Ouais.
Voilà.
Ça, c'est vraiment juste.
Those are the
Ah,
two.
j'ai mis le truc. Ok, j'ai mis le lien. Mais écoute, le truc, j'aime bien quelqu'un qui a dit merci de nous faire rire avec vous. Oui, c'est génial. Keto food by Kana. So keto. Oh, ok. Tu fais à manger, keto. Ce serait bien que les gens nous posent des questions s'ils ont des questions. Fatima, ça t'embête pas?
Bien sûr, ils peuvent très bien
Ouais, mettez
poser
vos
des questions
questions. Si on
ici,
peut
bien sûr.
répondre à vos questions, ça ferait plaisir. Moi, ça me fait toujours plaisir. Donc, qu'est-ce que j'allais dire? Je pense que c'est ça. Oui, donc, donner de la valeur aux gens, c'est vraiment ça, parce que les gens reconnaissent quand quelqu'un donne de la valeur. Même moi, j'ai quelques personnes que je suis sur Internet et je sais que quand ils sont live, I am going to learn something. So I'm like, oh, she's live. Let me listen, you know? And then there's one woman like that I follow on Instagram, and she's really good. Like, she's always there. She shows so many things that I want to learn. And then I started to follow her. And then I got on her mailing list. And then I bought one product. I bought a second product. And now I buy a few stuff because I know that she'll teach me what I need to know, because now I built the trust with her. And people have done this for me
Okay.
also. They bought from me. I never know them. And I was like, this is real good. So you got to take care of your people,
Good.
basically.
And this is important because people will trust you when they know that they get something valuable from you. Les gens vont te croire quand ils vont savoir, quand ils vont vraiment comprendre qu'ils sont, ou bien qu'ils reçoivent quelque chose qui a de la valeur, ou bien qu'ils apprennent quelque chose qui a de la valeur.
Ouais. Et c'est aussi très important de toujours donner un service de qualité, que ce soit un produit ou un service. Par exemple, j'ai lu ça dans ce livre. D'ailleurs, je recommande les gens, s'ils aiment lire, de lire ce livre qui s'appelle E-Myth par Michael E. Gerber. E-Myth, ça s'appelle E avec un petit truc et Myth, E pour entrepreneur. Et en fait, ce livre-là, il racontait que ce monsieur est parti dans un hôtel, non, c'était un hôtel ou un salon de coiffure, je sais plus. Et il a eu un service, mais vraiment impeccable. Et il est retourné la deuxième fois parce qu'il voulait vraiment le même service. Donc, il expliquait exactement, il a eu, on a fait sa barbe, on a mis une serviette chaude. Enfin, vraiment un service vraiment magnifique. Et il est retourné et la deuxième fois, on lui a pas donné ce service-là. Et là, il s'est dit, mais attends, ça, c'est une erreur incroyable parce que tu peux perdre un client à vie pour ça. Et à l'inverse, si par exemple, je suis sûre qu'il y a des gens ici dans le groupe qui ont un salon de coiffeur, chez qui ils vont tout le temps. Moi, j'ai conduit une fois de 30 minutes d'un endroit à l'autre pour aller chez mon salon de coiffeur parce que je la connais, elle connaît mes cheveux, je suis toujours très contente du service. Pourquoi je vais aller essayer un autre truc? Ben non. Donc, c'est pareil pour nous. Donc, essayez vraiment de donner de la valeur à chaque fois. Je vois qu'il y a une question.
What's the main and the basic skills and tools that I have to learn to start an online business?
Okay, so Anfel, what's the main and the basic skills, tools that I have to learn? Okay, so I do have a whole PDF on that I can send you, Anfel, so I can send you that if you're interested. But to answer your question right here, we have to go back to what type of business you want to learn. So it's very broad. There's so many tools out there on the internet that you would need. It depends. Maybe you want to write what you do, so that way it could give me a little bit more information. And then, moi, ça fait 15 ans que je vais chez la même coiffeuse. Okay, so see, Kito says she's going to the same. Okay, c'est exactement pareil. 15 ans. 15 ans. So that's the same thing. I mean, people is going to stick with you because of the good quality.
Because there is a trust.
Yeah, that's
right?
it.
The trust is built between the two, right? Okay, so let's wait for a few
more questions.
Minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we are going to get more questions, and then I think that we are going to meet you in Morocco for an event.
J'aimerais bien. I would really like that. We talked about this. You know, if we could get a good.
So maybe we can say it, we can announce it, and then try to attract it. You know.
Oh, that's another thing I need to talk about. Okay, en arabe, no, I can do Mehdi. أنا العربية لا ماشي مزيان. Fatima can translate for you later. Okay, so one more
Okay.
thing I want to talk to you about, I think this is massively important, especially with women, is mindset. So that is probably 80% of your business is this. So many women and people, but I think women, we do that a lot. We self-sabotage, or we don't believe in ourselves. We don't think we can. And we put all this negative talk in our head. And I think it's very important to start with self-awareness, to really, really realize, okay, why am I thinking this way? There's this thing that's called the imposter syndrome. I don't know if you heard of this. It's basically saying, I'm not good enough to be able to do this. There's so many businesses who are doing it already. Why they should be doing this for me? Da, 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 da. So I think you should really spend some time to work on the mindset. And by the way, this is a lifelong thing. I mean, I get these days too when I'm like, I don't want to do anything. So these happens, but I think it's very important to, and also with money, you know, well, I don't deserve this. How much should I charge? People are never going to pay this for me. Who am I? You know, all of these questions. So it's really important to get into the mindset, and there's tons of videos on YouTube to start. But self-awareness is number one. So be aware of your thoughts. Start there.
Great.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Great. I think the most important in online business is digital marketing. Abdel Hakim said this.
Yeah, but digital marketing is really broad, okay? Digital marketing is basically marketing your product online or services. But what is your question? Is this just your opinion? Yes, in that case, I don't know if this is the most important things, but this is definitely an important part of your business. But I would say, again, the most important things is to build your brand. That's where it starts, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Is what you're offering to people, what you're bringing to people.
Yeah.
This is the most important. And then I think mainly it's what your product or service solves for people.
Yeah, that's back to that.
What does it bring to people as a added value,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. It's.
And then the other things, the digital marketing and all of these things, they are tools that you use to brand your product or service.
Yep. Digital marketing is really just that. It's marketing. So when you start the business, you remember the 3 points I gave you, do what you love, etc., etc. I think once you figure out what you want to do, then the next 2 questions to ask yourself is, what kind of problem do I solve for my audience, and who is my audience? And you got to really spend some time. For me, for a while, I was like, oh, maybe immigrant entrepreneur, or maybe this. But now I figured out they're usually women over 40. It's very interesting. Women over 40 who are startup or not tech savvy. These are the type of women who keep on coming back into my thing. And also because they have kids and they moms, and they just, you know, have a lot to do, and they really love working with me because I give them, you know, everything, and they get work done. So I realized this is my audience. So when I do an ad, like I did this week for the event, we have events on Saturday, by the way. By the way, Fatima, I have to tell you this. On Saturday, if you can come, please come. I have a masterclass on how to create your marketing strategy. I think this is what people need in this question here. So if you want, I'll send you the information, but people should join. Yeah. So the reason why I'm telling you this is because I forgot. So marketing strategy for women the women over 40. Yeah. So women over 40 with kids are usually the one who come in because they see that they're ready to get the work done, and boom, you know?
Yeah. Maybe you can share with me the information later on, and I'm gonna post it on my page. You can really see it.
Yep, yeah, that would be really cool. Okay. I see you have questions.
J'ai une question. J'ai commencé à faire des recettes keto, mode de vie healthy depuis 15 ans.
Quels sont vos conseils?
Quels sont vos conseils
en ce début pour développer ce business? Bah, de nouveau, keto c'est chouette, mais I think where is your audience? So peut-être for you, I would recommend YouTube and Instagram. So definitely put your recipe, do the lives, show up with your people when you go food shopping. What are you buying? Why are you buying it? From who? What's the recipe? Show up for them all the time. Show them the before, show them the after, then share it with you.